All right, so we are going to extend the same thing, okay? So it's still two terms in the denominator and we want to rationalize. The only difference is now the numerator has two terms, okay? So it's still doing the same thing. The only difference is the top. We need to expand more. So the thing that we need to multiply to rationalize denominator, okay, what should we multiply for this one? We're on page 29, okay? So Henry, what should we multiply here to rationalize denominator?
We should multiply it by 3 times square root of 7 plus 2 times root of 5.
Yeah, very good. Okay, so top and bottom, you should multiply by the same thing. So we'll start with the denominator. Okay, denominator has the conjugate, right? If you like, you can put brackets around each of them because you have two terms, right? So denominator will be a squared minus b squared. So the thing that goes inside will be the first term and the second term. Okay, and then for the numerator, it's just a lot of multiplication, right? One by one. 1, 2, right? And then 3, 4. Okay, so you need to multiply all four pairs. So let's start with first one times first one. Okay, we'll go over one by one. So that we'll start with 2 root 7 times 3 root 7. So and yeah, what do you get? 2 root 7 times 3 root 7. What's that?
2 root 7 times 3 root 7 is like 6 times 7, so 42.
Yep. Okay. I'm just gonna write 6 times 7 for now. And then let's go to next one. We'll do 2 root 7 times 2 root 5. Okay, Angeline, what do you get? Angeline? You know where we are?
Yeah, it's 4 4 times 35.
Yeah, square root 35.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the middle should be plus because they're both positive. Okay. All right, next one. Let's go with these two. Okay, Henry, what do you get?
So now we do.
No, Henry.
Sorry, my brother's beside me and he's also in class. So
Okay. Right.
So I 3 times root 35.
Yeah. Okay. Don't forget the sign. It's plus. Okay.
Oh, sorry, plus, yeah. And then plus 10 plus 10.
Plus 10. Okay. Okay. Good. All right. So on the last pair is these two. Right. So that will be plus 10. 2 times 5 for now. All right. So let's simplify it more. So the top you get 42. 4 root 35 plus 3 root 35. Okay. What would that equal to, Tony? For the middle two terms?
That'll be 7 root 35.
Yes, very good. Okay, remember the 35 you cannot add together into 70. Okay, so it has to stay as 35. 2 times 5 is 10. Okay, now let's look at denominator. Jenny, what do you get for denominator then?
You would get 42 minus 10.
Okay, very good. Okay. Okay. Is it 42? How How'd you get 42?
Wait, never mind. It's 63.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, 63. Yes. Okay, so 3 times 3 is 9, right? 9 times 7. Okay, so 63. So now let's simplify more. I think that should be the last step. 53 at the bottom. Okay. 53. Is it 53? 63 minus, oh, it's not 10. Should be what? Not 10. Jenny, try again.
20.
20, okay. Right.
Sorry.
Right, so that will be 43. And then the top will be 52 plus 7 root 35. And then we want to double check, right? Anything we can reduce, 7 and 52, and right, you look at these three numbers, it has to be reduced all at the same time, right? So this one, nothing can go into them, then you can box them. Okay, so that will be all. So everything the same, right? It's still multiplied by conjugate, just more work on the top, more work to simplify, all right? So I'm gonna just pick one more for you to do. So the bottom part, okay, is for you guys to try. Question B, right, at the bottom. Right, so you can start by yourself. When you finish, you can raise your hand and then we'll check the answer, all right? Okay, Tony, what do we need to multiply with for this one?
We need to multiply 4 root 7 minus 3 root 3. I mean,
Why?
plus 3 root 3. I mean,
Okay, yeah. So depending on the question, you need to do the opposite.
yeah.
Right, continue. Are you almost done? Tony?
Yeah, no, I'm almost done.
Okay.
Anyway, so from there, I just did
Okay.
the.
Continue
See-
work on that. Okay. Let me know your final answer when you finish.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. If you already finished, you can raise your hand.
I got it.
Okay. What is it? The final
It-
answer.
It's 6 plus root 21 over 5.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else have different? Bernice, what's your answer?
I got 102 over 85.
102 over 85.
Yeah.
So no square root at all?
No.
Oh, okay, okay. So we need to find out. Okay, should still have square root. Okay. Geoffrey, what's yours?
Wait, let me double check.
Okay. Yeah, Geoffrey.
I got 102 plus 17 root 21 over 85.
Okay. All right. So we have a 1/2 and 85 as well. Okay. And Wilson, how about you? Do you have any match?
I got the same as Jeffrey, 6 plus square root 21 over 5.
Oh, so this one.
Yes, that one.
Right. So let's take a look, okay, how we get the three answers down there. For denominator, okay, we need to, denominator easier, right? Oh, should be minus. Okay, so 4 root 7 square and then 3 root 3 square. The top, the blue part, okay, the 3 root 7 multiplying in, so you get 12 times 7 plus, what's that? 9 root 21. Okay, so we should have root 21 there. And then now let's do the green part. These are the green ones. So plus 8 times root 21 plus 6 times 3. Okay, so double check your steps. Okay, Bernice, so far anything different?
I realized I forgot to do like the green multiplying.
Okay, yeah, so FOIL, right? You have to share every single one. So usually you will get 4 terms and then simplify from there. Right, so all the numbers, right? The 12 times 7, the 6 times 3, those ones, if you add together, I believe it will become 102. Right, and then add the one that has the square root 21, and that will give you the 17 root 21. Now for denominator, you have, what's that? 112 minus 27. After you simplify that, it will be 102 plus 17 over 17 root 21 over 85. So I think most people got to this point because the number is really huge, right? Well, not that huge, but it's big. So it's hard to simplify. So many people will stop there and then say, okay, that's it, right? But then if you try with the calculator, the 17, 85 and 102, actually they can all be divided by the same number. Okay, they can all be divided by 17. So 17 divided by 17, that makes it 1, and then this one will become a 6. So that one is hard to see, right? And this one is a 5, right? So if you simplify it, then you will get the full mark. Okay, otherwise you just you might lose a little bit of mark at the end. All right, so very tricky here. So if you want to simplify, make sure all 3 terms can be divided. Last thing I want to cover, okay, is the radical equation, okay, which is on page 31. So please turn to that. So radical equation means you have left side and right side, they equal each other, right? That's why it's called the equation. And usually when you see equation means you want to solve for x. Find out what x equals, so then it makes the left side and the right side equal each other. Okay, so if it's a regular equation, right? For example, if it's x plus 3 equal 5, this one we all know how to solve, right? Move things over, right? And then you get the x. But if there's a square root above the x, right? Above the variable, we call that radical equation. So first thing we want to do is to make the square root go away. And by now we know that if I want to cancel out the square root, the opposite thing we can do is to square. Okay, so for example, if you have square root of x, when you square that, it will just become an x, right? It cancels out. But before we can do that, we need to isolate this radical. So here are 3 steps. First one, we need to isolate the radical. Okay, keep the radical by itself, and then you square both sides. Right, and then at the end, we always need to check the answers. Okay, later I'll explain why we need to do that. So let's take a look at first one. Okay. Yeah, so for this one, right, the 7 can be moved over, right? We want to make sure the square root is by itself. So you get square root x plus 1 equals to 2. Okay, so this is called isolate the radical. Okay, you make the square root stand by itself on one side. Doesn't matter which side, just keep it on one side. Step 2, I'm gonna square both sides. So the left side, you'll put a square. The right side, you also put a square. So you get something like this, right? Cancels out the square root, right side is a 4. Okay, we start off with the easy one, okay? And then once you get here, you isolate. So this is called the square both sides. Both sides. Okay, and then now you solve for x equal to 3. Now we need to check. Okay, the reason why we need to check is the answer that you got here. This answer is for this one, right? Came from here. It's the one that has no square root. Okay, sometimes it won't work for the original question. Well, original should be the one up there, right? So we need to plug it back into the original question to see if it still works. Sometimes it won't work for the one that has radical, okay? So that's why we need to check. Because after you square both sides, you kind of change the question a little bit, right? Make it look easier, right? So let's plug it in to check. So square root x plus 1 plus 7. I want to see if it equals to 9. So I plug in the 3. So we get square root of 4 plus 7 equal to 9. 2 plus 7 equals to 9. 9 equals to 9. So this one checks. Okay, so you plug it into the question. So this is called checking. Once you checked it, it works, then you box it. Okay. So this one just give you a general idea what are the 3 steps. Okay, but in fact, when you are doing the homework, the questions are more complicated than this, right? Step 1, 2, 3. So look at one question that could be the ones on the homework. Okay, could look similar to the ones on the homework. We'll look at question C. Before we move on, okay, does anyone have questions? Make sure you copy the notes down and raise your hand when you're ready, okay, to move on to C. Okay, please raise your hand if you finish writing down all the notes here. So last step is the most important one, okay? Without checking, sometimes you might have extra answers. Okay, Tony, do you need more time?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, you're good? Okay.
Yeah.
Right, let's look at question C now, right? So our step 1 is to isolate the radical. So I'll let you guys do that. Move everything over except the radical on one side. Okay, so Kat, what does it look like now? Kat? Yep.
Hello.
Yep, I can hear you now.
Are we doing number C?
Yeah, question C.
Um,
So isolate the radical. What does it look like?
I just moved the X over.
Yeah. So what does it? What is on the left side then?
Square root 2x plus 3.
Okay. What's on the right side?
6 minus x.
Yeah. Very good. Okay. And Aaron, what is the next step now?
You square both sides.
Yep. So we are going to square both sides. Okay. So I'm gonna do it slowly. So I will copy one more time. So it'll be left side squared, right side squared. Okay. So left side square is very easy, right? Just cancels out the square roots. Okay, what about the right hand side? Henry, how do we square the right side now?
You do um isn't it a squared
Mm-hmm.
that okay, so it'd be 6 squared
Yeah.
minus 2
Minus
12x
12x. Okay.
plus x squared.
Very good. Okay. So right hand side common mistake is to just square each one makes it 36 minus x squared. This is wrong. Okay. For the right side. Right hand side, when you square, you need to use the special product that we covered last time. Remember, we reviewed this, the 3 formulas. So if it's a minus b squared, right, it will be a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. Okay, so this one is the minus. We use the formula number 2. All right, so be careful when you square. Where do we go here? Okay, let's simplify it more. It'll be 2x plus 3, 36 minus 12x plus x squared. Okay, let's write down the steps that we did. Okay, here we isolate. Here we square both sides, right? Square, we isolate. Okay, now once you get to here, this equation is different from the equation we had before, right? The equation above, we only get, there's no square at all. But for this one, we get a square. So you need to use something you learned a while ago, okay? This is called quadratic equation. So we need to move everything to one side, make one side equal to 0. Okay, so x squared, stay there. I'm going to move everything to the right side, okay? But then write it on the left. So minus 14x and then plus 33. Okay, so once you get to here, this is called quadratic equation. Okay, can you raise your hand if you understand how we get to this point? So we are moving everything to one side, make it equal to 0, okay? But I'm writing the equation on the left, right? The quadratic equation. Tony and Valerie, do you have any questions? How we get the equation here? All right. So once you get to here, you can, if you remember, to solve this, we see if we can factor. Okay. Do the cross factor thing, turn it into brackets equal to 0. Okay. So I'll let you do this part. After you got the 2 factors, you can raise your hand. If there's anyone who has forgotten how to factor, let me know. Okay, Isabella, what are the two factors?
I wrote x minus 11 and x minus 3.
Okay, yeah, very good. So it'll be x and 11 or negative 11, x and negative 3. So when you cross multiply, they should add up to negative 14x. And then now, once you factor that, the purpose is to solve each bracket. Okay, so you make x minus 11 equal to 0. So you found x equal to 11. And then you make x minus 3 equal to 0. So x equal to 3. Okay, so don't rush to boxing yet. Okay, we still have one more step. Wilson, what's the last step we need to do?
I don't remember.
Well, look at the last question. What's the third step? First, isolate. Second, square both sides. What's number 3?
I didn't get the last question down.
Okay, can you copy the last question down?
Yeah.
Okay, and
Do you
then
check afterwards?
yeah, you need to check. Okay, make sure you can keep the answers. So we're going to check these two answers. Okay, so step 3 is to check. And to check, where do we sub it back in, Jenny?
The original question.
Yes, okay, we need to take these answers, put it back into there, okay, one at a time, okay, so you can check 11, plug it into x, see if it left and right equal each other, and then you check 3, okay? So you have x plus root 2x plus 3 equals 6. So I'll let you guys check this by yourself. Okay, after you finish checking and decided which one to keep, sometimes you keep only one, sometimes you keep both of them, and sometimes none of them will work, okay? Then you will say no solutions. So it depends. So you always have to check. All right, after you finish checking, you can raise your hand. Plug it into the x. One of them you plug in the 11. The other one you plug in the 3. Okay. Okay, Geoffrey, when you plug in the 11, what do you get?
16.
Okay, so 16 and then equal to 6, it doesn't equal, right? So that means 11 we need to throw out. Okay, Naomi, what about 3? What do you get when you plug in 3? Naomi, can you turn on your mic? Naomi, are you there? Yeah. Did you plug in the 3? Can't hear you. I can hear a little bit of sound. Okay, maybe you type, okay? You can type it in chat. Naomi? Yeah, okay. So did you plug in the, I couldn't hear you. Yeah, so you can type it in the chat box. After you plug in 3, what do you get on the left side? Oh, okay. Then, okay, let me ask Henry then, okay? What do you get on the left side after you plug in 3?
Okay, so it turns into 3 plus root 6 plus 3 equals 6.
6 plus 3 equal, 6 plus 3 is what?
That's 9
9, okay. So 3
equals
plus
6.
equals 6.
And then
That
that
work?
turns, yeah.
Okay, so the left side and right side both equal to 6. So that means we will keep it, okay? So we'll keep the 3 and then the 11, we'll throw it out, okay? So make sure when you do the homework, you have to check, okay? Sometimes you need to throw out the answers. All right, so that's it for today, all right? And next week we have a Good Friday break, okay? So 1 week, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Okay, if you have questions, you can stay after class. And Shania and Tony, I will need to get your homework. All right. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Have a good weekend too.
You too.